Good morning. My name is Jay Rosenthal, and I'm the Managing Director of Business of Cannabis. Welcome to the Cannabis Daily Show for Friday, March 18th. TGIF. Since 2017, we follow the company's brands, people, and trends driving the cannabis industry, and that's what we look to do here every day. But as you watch this, we'd love to hear from you in the comments below, and we also would love you to visit us at businessofcannabis.com to see all that we do. We're also all over the social channels, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, and we're on our YouTube channel. Obviously, if you're watching here, please do subscribe. A few announcements. On March 30th, we'll be back online for our retail series presented by Leafly and Vitrina Group, talking about how to prepare your cannabis retail store for 420. And then in September, we'll be at New York for 2 days of Business of Cannabis New York. All the information is in the description below. For today's top stories, Brittney Griner is still being detained in Russia. We'll look at the difference between 2021 and 2020 in cannabis. Seth Rogen's mentorship program at Houseplant, and Akanda Corp's stock post-IPO. For our first story, it's been weeks since WNBA star Brittney Griner was arrested at an airport near Moscow for allegedly carrying cannabis vape oil cartridges, and is still not public knowledge where exactly she's being held or how her case will be managed. Now, the Russian state news agency is reporting that Griner will be detained until May, this according to NBC News. Many have pointed out the double standard that appears to have emerged in the wake of the very worrisome news. Imagine if a pro NFL player was being detained by Russian authorities. What would be the response from the American public and the American media and the American government? What would that be, especially if it had nothing to do with cannabis? Steve D'Angelo has not been quiet on this, the cannabis veteran and godfather of cannabis in California. Biden has outdone himself with the hatred for cannabis this time, commented, this is from Steve D'Angelo. The failure of the White House to stand up and denounce Brittney's detention and demand her immediate release is a grotesque act of racism and cannabis stigma. If any other U.S. citizen had been seized by Russia, the Biden White House would be screaming about it from the rooftops. We agree with Steve D'Angelo on this one. For our second story, cannabis sales grew in the U.S. in 2021, but not at the same pace that it grew in the previous pandemic-fueled year. This in a story at MJ Biz. There's signs that showing that sales may be returning to pre-pandemic levels in the very near future. So what is the difference? Well, there are a few things. One, no stimulus checks or other programs in 2021, so there's less spare money for people. Potentially less pressure to stock up because stores were closed off and on in 2020, but now many have stayed through 2021. And other entertainment sources such as movie theaters and restaurants stayed open as well in 2021, making homebound cannabis consumption maybe less frequent and affordable. Here's the takeaway, but there are still more flexible and varied ways of purchasing that are post-pandemic, which are distributing and learning about products than ever, making it much easier. And so some retailers will continue to capitalize on that. We will watch this story and look to see how 2022 compares to 2021 compares to 2020. For our third story, Houseplant, which is led by actor Seth Rogen, is seeking new applicants to its mentorship program called In-House, which is designed to assist California-based cannabis entrepreneurs who've been impacted by the war on drugs. This in a story from High Times. Here are some of the details. It's a part-time 6-month program for those in both plant touching and ancillary businesses. The application asks questions such as whether or not the applicant was a California equity licensee, how they've been affected by prohibition, and what the challenges the company is currently facing. And the program was launched after the success of last year's pilot program. Good on you, Seth Rogen and Houseplant. For our fourth story, British medical cannabis company Akanda Corp's stock rose 350% over its listing price after going public on NASDAQ on Tuesday. This is from a story in Business Can. The company's market cap more than quadrupled earlier projections, which was $116 million. The company raised $16 million, which CEO Tej Verk says will go toward building infrastructure in Southern Africa and some M&A. Those are the stories we're watching today. Join 10,000 others plus and catch all those stories and more in your box every day at 7 a.m. Eastern with our Cannabis Daily newsletter. And that was episode 50 of the Cannabis Daily Show. Thank you for joining us here on YouTube or wherever you caught the program. We'll see you back here on Monday.